That's the day that you left me. The height, the depth, the right to reject the lie. Set me right over the edge. And oh, baby, baby, please tell me you hate me. If it makes this easier for you. Oh, baby, baby, please bury me 6 feet deep. If it makes it easier. This is all way another show. This is all way another night. This is all way another show. Cuties to me, I'm just not an actor. These I'm showing I am too directly a disaster. The stage is up at the start, they're showing so good I can laughter. I'm bit of the drama, it's just starting to shoot away. I'm taking a second to make a decision to break up a relationship. Shit, but you give me the key to your heart, but you tell me what I should be doing with it. This is all way another show. This is all way another night. This is all way another show. This is all way another night. I was running late for the bridegroom. Blood was a stain from the upper room. Now my Sunday best it would never do. There at the altar of the Father hewn. Sun is wearing out. So let's go in like stains might be quite the latest fashion. We'll get so like the earth was dry far too long, and now it's pouring. I was on the steps while the church bells sang. Ushers let me in up to wed today. They asked if I was covered with the crimson stain. Well, they couldn't let me in until my debt was paid. Oh. Sun is wearing out. So let's go in like stains might be quite latest fashion. Sun is wearing out. We'll get so like the earth was dry far too long, and now it's pouring. I was running late for the bridegroom. There at the altar of the Father hewn. Sun is wearing out.
Hey, Simeon.
What? Is he looking at us?
Jesus, do you think he knows?
Hello?
Better call Christoph.
Hello? Come in, Major Burbank.
He's back to his old self.
Oh my God.
That's an unusual cat, my man.
I hereby proclaim this planet true mania of the Burbank Galaxy.
What's up? How's it going? How's it going? Time for the party.
Hello, hello, hello.
Time for the big, sexy, live party.
We have coming to the party.
Yeah, we've got some peeps in here. More importantly, yeah, just listening to the music's making me chill. I'm gonna have to get all riled up if we're gonna talk about the news. It might be a little tough. I don't know.
We either need to get riled up, or we need a little bit of green stuff to mellow with his music.
Yeah, I don't have any of the green stuff right now. I've only got the brown stuff, so that'll have to do. Craig,
All right.
how
fair
you
enough.
doing?
I am doing fantastic.
What you drinking? What you smoking? What you vaping?
I am not vaping currently because my battery died, so I opted for this gentleman's vape right here. This is Bullseye Flake.
Bullseye Flake?
Yeah, tobacco, not the green stuff, tobacco. Comes in these like bullseye-shaped pieces.
Very nice.
You break up and flake up and smoke it up. And then I am currently drinking some day-old coffee mixed with heavy whipping cream and bourbon. And it's delicious.
Very sexy. Very sexy. So this is, I would say, our first official live stream where we actually know kind of what we're doing. We still got a few kinks probably, and you guys can let us know afterwards where the kinks were at. But we figured out how to share the audio, share the music, share. I can't screen share with Craig still. We'll figure that out as time goes on. I also figured out how to make it so you guys can call into the show, which is a big fat effing deal. We have not tested it with 2 people on the line. I tested it earlier by myself, so that should definitely work. But hopefully that goes well. You can't call in just yet, but you will be able to later on after we get a little bit further into things. If you want to write it down, just so you know, you can store it in your phone. 309-716-3818 is the number, and it will be the number in perpetuity until something changes, which I don't foresee happening anytime soon. So save that in your phone, 309-716-3818. And I'll remind you guys later when we're taking calls what the number is, but you can do that. Or you can go add me on Skype. I believe it's just dan.smots, or you should be able to search for The System is Down and find it. But for those of you, if we have any new listeners here, this is the AntiNews, the least trusted name in news, where we cover what is supposedly happening in the world today. I've got quite a few stories because I wanted to make this first one special. Craig, do you got anything that you want to kick it off with? Actually, wait. I take that back. We're not going to jump into the news just yet. We'll call this still pre-show. Pre-show, I have something that, Craig, I'm not sure if you realize happened on last week's episode. Have you listened to last week's episode since it's been out?
I listened to probably 3/4 of it because, like I said, that's basically all I listen to is our recap, is recapping what we did. So.
Sure. When did you listen to it?
Probably Wednesday.
Okay. Then this is going to be fun. So something was said on last week's episode that that neither of us really realize. I'm just going to play this. So yeah, this is pretty gold.
Yeah, delete that. We don't want some people listening.
Yep.
We don't want like grandma listening. Grandma, sorry.
Well, if anybody finds the YouTube page, it will be live and it will be out there for people to discover our lunacy. So, you know, it is what it is. We're gonna be what we're gonna be.
If grandma can figure out a computer long enough to figure out Facebook long enough to figure out how to get to
She'll
your
be dead by
page
then. She'll be dead by
long
then.
enough to click on the link, more power to her to listen.
That's right.
To
She can clearly
the show.
handle some of these hard subjects if she can figure out that much in the short amount of time that she has left.
I almost feel bad that I'm laughing about this.
So, I just listened back to a little bit of the episode yesterday. I was like, holy shit. For those that don't know, our grandma died with no warning at all. We had no idea, no signs, no nothing until literally it was at like 9:30 that aired, not last Monday. It was less than 48 hours later with no warnings. Our grandma died. The grandma that we were talking about there even. So
that's it. I mean, we are more upset than we sound about it. Like, we've already gone through the funeral and stuff. It's not like we're total assholes and laughing about grandma dying.
I'm laughing at
But the
The
irony of
fact
it,
that I basically predicted her death, or maybe I put it on her, or maybe she discovered the internet and then found this and died from it. I don't know. I could be totally responsible. But that
I've
was
I've already blamed Dad for it. Like, to his face, I blamed him for killing her.
Oh, did you? Please
I did.
explain.
Oh, you
'Cause that sounds much worse than what we're saying.
So, well, this was it was after it was too soon to joke about. So we were good, even though this just happened like 4 days ago. So, oh,
Still before
was
she was
it?
in the
Saturday.
ground, but not too soon, right?
correct. Last week, for a little bit of backstory, you know this, but everyone else doesn't. Our grandpa, we thought for sure would go before grandma because he's got a bunch of health issues and she seemed, for the most part, pretty healthy.
Yeah, she was the one driving him around and taking care of him and doing all this stuff. He could not drive. He could barely, well, he can't really walk anymore, and
that's
his
where my
brain's
story
slipping
started.
a little bit too. Yeah.
He can barely walk. When he does walk with a walker, he can't lift his feet up off the ground much. So he just kind of does the shuffle, the walker shuffle.
The senior shuffle.
So with that, my parents went over to their house because they park in the garage and there's steps up to the house. And so our parents went over and were like, well, their kids, so it'd be my dad and his brother and sister went over and pretty much had an intervention saying, you need a ramp. You need a ramp into your garage so you don't fall and seriously hurt yourself. And our grandma was completely against it because it's change. She doesn't do change well at all. No change, nothing. She cried when they got a new microwave that didn't have the dial on it.
Yeah, not only that, and we're not speaking ill of the dead. Love you, Grandma. Sorry you're gone. But yeah, she did not like change so much. They have been in that house since before I was born, and to my knowledge, not a single thing in that house has been moved as far as decorations or anything.
The chair we stabbed holes in with plastic knives is still down in the basement.
Yes, we were young at that point. We were children. It wasn't like recently that we stabbed a chair with knives. We had plastic knives and stabbed a pleather vinyl chair, stabbed holes in it because, I don't know, we were pastors' kids. We had pent-up anger and aggression.
So my dad and his siblings said, we need to build you this ramp. Grandma said, no, absolutely not. He doesn't need that. We don't want that. So they go out.
I think that she was like concerned because she's the one driving. She was concerned that parking there would be difficult.
She was concerned about different things.
There's that too.
And so they go out and they're like looking to see how they can move stuff around and get the car over enough to put a ramp in. Grandpa comes out and it's like, so what are you gonna do? And so they explained to him the whole process, and he's like, well, Nancy, our grandma, Nancy doesn't want it, so I guess not. And so our dad, being the caring, loving son that he is, says, well, if you fall in this garage, you are going to the nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, okay, put in the ramp, because he does not want to go to a nursing home.
And we have no idea if Dad approves this story being told, but, that's what you get when you're in a family and you tell us things.
An unknown person that we know of that is somewhat related to us said...
It's live. It's a little late to take it back.
He's not listening.
Yeah.
So they built this ramp on Saturday, and then by Wednesday, Grandma checked out. Mm-hmm. So I told him she couldn't handle all this change that you're putting on them, and so she said, nope, I'm done, and just checked out, and that was it.
You
I mean,
can
it was
build
a
a
good
ramp,
humor.
but I'm going to leave. Goodbye.
I'm not staying for that ramp. And so
much
now
change, he killed her.
Now there's all that they're having to do all these different things in order to care for our grandpa because he needs some assistance. So now I'm like, don't push too hard, Dad. Don't push too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was always the tougher. He was a tough old bird, and he's gonna hang on. I feel like for a while.
He was walking down their steep-ass basement steps to do jigsaw puzzles.
Just like he's been doing for the last 30 years, to my knowledge.
Up until about a year ago, they told him, your puzzles have to move upstairs because we're not allowing you to do the shuffle down the stairs anymore.
Yeah, and we should. I mean, I would love to reminisce about stuff, but that's not only is that not what people necessarily care to hear, but I don't want to say anything that is something that shouldn't be shared in their life because they're pretty private people, which is fine. But yeah, how does he get his pop and his diet beverages now? Because that fridge has that it's like the old timey like oval fridge type thing
with the big metal pull handle,
big metal clanky.
Well,
like joystick to open the door.
To my knowledge, he stopped using that because Mom had said the other day that they went down to check to see if that fridge still worked. And they said it does still work. And I'm like, well, I want that fridge.
I want that fridge.
I want that in my basement so I could put glass soda bottles in it.
I'll take that fridge and put it immediately behind me here in the studio, and it will be the backdrop from now on. And
just a big clunky fridge.
Yes, it will be awesome on its own. It can stand alone on its own. But I could also take like all the posters and stuff and just hang them on the fridge with magnets and then have beverages in it. That would be the coolest backdrop ever. Just and
then you could just turn around, mute your mic, obviously, and clunk open this fridge and grab a soda pop.
I would not mute my mic because that's the charm of that fridge is the clunk. Anyway, so how's everybody doing tonight? I'm doing well. Craig, are you doing well?
I am doing as good as I can, considering our grandma just died.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, if I say anything about you dying on the show, I don't wish any ill will on you, just like I did not with my grandma.
Just know he does apparently have psychic abilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Do I have
start making
abilities?
plans. If he brings
prophet.
it up, I was gonna say if you bring it up about a certain person, that person just might as well start making plans.
Yeah. Should we test it? Should we like go through some of the people who are in this in the comments feed that's going here and start naming them off and be like, man, I hope that Lucas Riley doesn't, die in 48 hours. It's like the black spot from Treasure Island.
So are we held liable if he does die now? Can his relatives come back and sue us now for this?
If Lucas's mom is smart enough to learn how to use the internet.
Don't do that. No, don't. I'm fine with Lucas, but not his mom. I don't want to put that on somebody's mom.
I'm pretty sure Lucas said that his mom listens to their podcast, the 29 Toes Podcast, free plug, 29 Toes Podcast. It starts to get good around episode 13. But pretty sure he said that his mom listens to their podcast, so she definitely knows how to use the internet, knows how to use listen to podcasts and all that. So she won't be shocked like our grandma was to death. So good stuff. We went to a funeral yesterday, obviously, for our grandma, and saw a lot of people. It's strange how things like that bring a family together, and it's like, I haven't seen you, and I had barely even recognized you. It's sad that It takes a death in the family to bring families together these days.
Well, it's even more sad, in my opinion. Not sad, but like kind of ridiculous. Is there was a guy there who's, I think, a cousin of Dad's or something. I overheard him at the gravesite because we have an uncle who died prematurely at 29 of cancer, and he is buried right next to where our grandma got buried. And so this cousin was like at the graveside said, yeah, sorry, I couldn't make it to Danny's funeral because we were getting married at the time. That was 32 years ago, and apparently he's just now like coming around to. Apparently that was the last chance he had to get together with us.
Well, yeah, it's hard to say if it's that's the last time he's seen any of us, or if that's the last get together that he's been at, or if it's like our family is so like we don't talk about things so much. We're such avoiders of conflict that it took him 34 years to say, hey, sorry about that.
No, I talked to Dad, and he was like, no, it's been probably about that long since he's been around. So, no, they just haven't come around.
Yeah. And actually, another thing is that guy's pretty old too. So he might be, he may have apologized at the time and forgot about it. It's not like he's like not been in contact with any single person in our entire family in the last 34 years. But anyway, enough of our family. That's what makes this show special. I don't just have a co-host, I have my brother, so we have all sorts of fun pre-show stories that we can tell for the first 12 minutes that this has been. So let's jump into the news for real now. We've got a couple people in here. We've got a couple of people chatting it up in the chat room. And I will say before we jump into the news, if you're watching through Patreon or if you're watching through Facebook, if you're just watching the feed somewhere else, we can't see your comments on those until we log out of here. But if you go over to YouTube and post in the little chat bar on the side, I can see all of your comments, and we might bring them up in some of our discussions. Looks like we've got some stuff from Nick Picone from Sounds Like Liberty podcast, another plug. We've got Forrest Bizat, we've got Lucas Riley, we've got Justin Zielinski, we've got a couple people in here. So let's keep the show going, and we'll do some call-ins later on if you guys are interested. Justin Zielinski says, Dan is so HD, it's freaking me out. Hell yeah. You know why I'm so HD, Justin? It's because of people like you who are in the Downers Club, who are giving me a little bit of money every month that makes me able to buy a cam link so I can hook up my DSLR as a webcam. And I say it all the time. Your donations are making the audio and video quality of this show bigger and better as we go. And if enough people join, eventually we'll be able to buy Craig a DSLR and a cam link.
I was just going to say, just to tag on that, if you want to see me in equally as good HD, donate more money, and then I will look as beautiful. And you can see my setup back here beautifully. And you can even look at my pet snake over there, the actual snake over there.
Yeah.
In high definition.
That would
maybe
be
4K if you pay enough money.
That would be great, but that's going to be a good chunk of money. The reason why I did not get the camera with you guys' money. Let's let that be clear. I film weddings for a living, so I already had the camera. You guys bought the link. It's basically looks like a flash drive and makes it so you can use the camera.
My camera is from Goodwill, just so everybody knows.
Hey, it works. It works. All right, Craig, do you want to kick us off with some news here?
Let's see. What do we want to talk about first? Serious or not so serious?
Whatever you like. Whatever you like.
Well, lighthearted to kind of get us going.
Sounds good.
So, do you remember there was this, I guess you'd call her an actress, back a few months ago that posted some things. I can't remember her name.
Talking about Roseanne Barr?
Roseanne Barr, yes. That's it.
Is it really?
Headline of today is that they have a new show. Not Roseanne, but the rest of them, the people that aren't Roseanne, that want to keep this thing going for some reason, called The Connors. The show is called The Connors after Roseanne Connor, after the show.
It's going to be a terrible flop.
It's
Guaranteed.
A spinoff, obviously.
It's going to be a flop.
So they have released, or they've hinted around of how this is going to take place. This headline says, The Connors show, John Goodman says Roseanne Barr's character will be killed off.
Duh.
There's a headline. This is an article just for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, need we read more? Everybody knew that this was going to happen. Of
I'd
course.
like to get his comment on it, but
if they were smart, they wouldn't kill her off. They would make her into some bad guy who maybe lost her mind and left the family, as some women do later on in their marriage.
Or she committed some hate crimes and got thrown in jail.
There's that. Yeah, put her in jail. Do something where you leave the door a crack open just in case society calms the fuck down and we're able to bring Roseanne back into the mainstream of entertainment, regardless of one single tweet that she posted that was almost nothing at all.
Ironically, John Goodman's character, Dan Connor, was killed off in the season finale.
Right. I suppose we can suspend belief. I mean, we did it for him, and he's back, and it's totally fine. Why can't we do it for her in the future? I suppose they're leaving the door open just as much as the original Roseanne show did, so whatever.
The article says, when talking about the new iteration of the series and his character Dan, the drywall contractor and Roseanne's husband in the original series and revival, he told the publication, "It's an unknown. I guess he'll be mopey and sad because his wife is dead." Well, that's a spoiler alert, John.
Spoiler alert, he's not stoked that his wife died.
ABC has not confirmed how Barr would be written off the show, which the network abruptly canceled after Barr's racist tweet about Valerie Jarrett, a former senior advisor to President Barack Obama. ABC described Barr's comment as abhorrent. Yeah, we know all this. We don't need a recap of that. Tell us, right. Is that one sentence all they're going to say about it? It says, Barr has no financial or creative involvement in the new series after reaching a settlement with the series producer, Tom Warner. ABC has described Barr's exit as a sudden turn of events. On a new show after a sudden turn of events, the Connors are forced to face the daily struggles of life in Lanford in a way they never have before. The iconic family grapple with parenthood, dating, blah, blah, blah. So literally it says nothing except that one line. Literally nothing.
Yeah. You guys wonder why... I mean, I think we might have a couple new people in here, but do you guys wonder why, for those of you who have listened to this in the bonus content, do you wonder why we read the headlines and then we comment? That's all this is. I mean, you're expanding on a little bit of the story arc as like
Not
they're
really.
gonna I mean, let's see how this family does dealing without the mother, which is basically the grandmother. I mean, she's old and the kids for the most part didn't live at home. What's her face moved back in the reboot season, but I mean, this is no story because of course that's what it is.
I think they just wanted another reason to bring up, hey, remember that time Roseanne said those one things?
Well, yeah, it's a way to they're just letting people know this is gonna go, and we hope it doesn't suck as much as it's going to. The real question is, Craig, would you watch The Connors?
I might watch it just to see how bad it sucks.
Right.
Because, like I said, I liked the Roseanne show when it was on.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't my favorite show, but it was one of those shows you could turn on and fall asleep to, and then the next day watch another one and not really have missed much.
Hold on. Just so you know, somebody just gave us a thumbs down. Let it be known. I like it. I don't know who it is. I have no way of knowing, but thank you, you dedicated listener.
Thank you for the thumbs down. You've listened to about 20 minutes of nothing and maybe 2 minutes of a little less than nothing.
Yep.
So thank you. Thumbs down.
Thank you so much. But yeah, I didn't watch. I don't think I watched a single episode of the original Roseanne show before the reboot. Then I watched the first, I think, 2 episodes of the reboot, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. I'm not a big fan of like live in front of a studio audience type dealios where I mean, most of those today are like super canned laughter, but this one, it felt like it was still kind of in front of a live studio audience where it's not just like forced. But what I liked about it was that they tackled a lot of social issues that are going on in the world today from both sides. Like, they didn't lean super heavily right or super heavily left. They showed the crazies on both sides and the extremes on both sides, but then they had reasonable commentary on, like actual human commentary on what this actual issue means, which is something that I was super stoked for, because that is so lacking, especially in sitcoms. Holy shit.
Really, what I liked about the old school Roseanne was this for the first one of the first times was just a low life, like low middle class Midwest family growing up with nothing, and it reminded me a lot of not necessarily our family, but like maybe our mom's family,
Yeah.
like the dysfunction of it and stuff like that. It
Yeah.
just really, a lot of the characters reminded me of like my mom's sisters and stuff, like how they would react in these circumstances and stuff. Just
Right.
that not made of money family, like just trying to scrape by, and that's how we
Like
were
lower
raised. And
middle
that's how
class America. It portrayed pretty dang well. I assume
they hit-
back then, and at least when it rebooted, it did, in my opinion.
and they hit a lot of the edgy topics, even back in the late 80s, early 90s. For those days, those were edgy topics, and they were just real topics that they addressed in a real way. Even if like it was stuff that you didn't necessarily agree with, they at least attempted to tackle those topics, those themes and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and Nick's Radio commented. We're not going to read all the comments like we did last time because we've got a lot to cover here, and we're doing this legit now. But Nick's Radio, it might be Nick Bacone who was commenting earlier. It might not be. I could be completely wrong. If you're not Nick Bacone, great. But Nick's Radio
Identify
says,
yourself.
yes, please identify yourself in the comments. Nick's Radio says, a Roseanne show without Roseanne. They want to have their cake and eat it too. Absolutely. Like they want to. The Roseanne show exploded. It was like so crazy big when it came back with the reboot. So big that Trump talked to Roseanne and told her congratulations on the reboot of your show. Of course, that
When
everybody-
wars were being fought and people were starving.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Like I feel like it's such a cash grab because they're like, well, this show is going great. We've got billions of viewers and everything. But we're going to get a lot of flack for that one single comment you made. So you're gone, and also crap. We're out of billions of dollars. Maybe let's do it without you. Let's have Roseanne without Roseanne.
Right.
It's dumb.
And this article is just basically his one sentence of, it's going to be really sad having a wife that died. And then just them saying, a family that loses a mom, and then explains the Connor family. Like, we don't already know the Connor family.
Right.
If anything, it's just like, who is it? Goes through life without a mom with this, all these Connor family things that they've always done. So it's just a big nothing article, except to say, oh, Roseanne might be dead, probably, and let me just recap what she said, and nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't we go ahead and open up the phone lines? We'll take a call or two if you guys want to call in. I've got it up. If you call, you can cut me off in the next segment, but if you want to call in on Roseanne, feel free. They're going to be short and sweet calls. Just get your thoughts on what's going on and what we're talking about. But, actually, I won't give out the number again. Let's wait until after I give a news story, because then I'll be able to easily watch and see if anybody's calling in as we go back to you. But so the next news story, what I have is, have you heard about Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Aves?
Oh, no, I have not.
Okay. Well, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, as I would imagine we all know by now, Stormy Daniels, the person that Trump supposedly had the affair with, and they're trying to use that as evidence that he should be impeached. Like, weren't we all alive in the Clinton era? He should be impeached for trying to cover up the fact that he had an affair on his wife outside of the office, and
Long before we even thought of him as a political character, he was just a typical semi-celebrity, high uppity person that nobody cared what his personal life was. They expected him to be the Bruce Wayne playboy.
Right, yeah. Nobody is surprised by that, and that's old news. But Stormy Daniels' lawyer, the porn star that Trump allegedly paid off to keep quiet about his affair, he showed up at the VMAs, the MTV's Video Music Awards. Why? That's what everybody is wondering, and that's also what Variety magazine is also wondering, because they went up and interviewed him briefly at the VMAs, and I will play the video of the interview.
Okay, I'm just going to say, what the heck are you doing here?
Well, you know, I was invited to this great event. It's a pretty cool event, and I thought I'd show up.
Nice to be invited.
A little bit, but, you know, hopefully it won't be the first time. Well, it is the first time. Hopefully it won't be the last time.
So are you really considering to run for president?
I am. I'm serious about it. I'm seriously looking at it. I'm traveling around, talking to people in the country, and, you know, I've been really surprised at how much enthusiasm there is out there for the potential. So I'm going to make a decision. I want to be smart about it, deliberate.
Did you ever think you'd be running for president?
No, I didn't actually. You know, it's been a whirlwind 6 months, and you know, I think I have a real shot if I decide to do it. It's a big decision, though.
So what's next with Stormy Daniels? What's next in all of this?
Well, we got a hearing coming up on the 10th of September relating to where we stand in the case, whether we're going to be able to lift the stay, and I'm hopeful that I'm going to be deposing the president within the next 90 or 120 days.
And what's the question you want to ask him?
Well, there's not one question. There's about 100 questions, but I want to talk about the lies and the cover-up. That's what I want to focus on, no question.
And now you're at the VMAs. What's your favorite J-Lo song?
You know, there's so many. I can't even begin to pick one, but there's too many to pick from.
I'm gonna ask you the Drake challenge.
Feelings.
All right, whatever. There's that.
I can't, like you said, I can't see these videos, but I can hear them.
Yeah.
Does that interviewer look as dumb as he sounds?
He looks flamboyant, we'll say. He looks like he's of a certain orientation, and he does sound pretty dumb. He's wearing a pink tuxedo.
What's the favorite J-Lo song that you like to listen to?
Well, he's for Variety magazine, so, you know, he is what he is. Yeah. Did you? I know it was skipping. Did you get the gist of what went down there?
It almost sounded like he said he's going to run for president. It almost sounded like it between the skipping.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it sounded like.
You're right. Yep. Apparently, some rando porn star's lawyer is talking about running for president in 2020 because he knows just like Oprah, just like Alec Baldwin, just like everybody else, that if he runs for president based on I don't like the president, he's going to be the president of the United States. And
because
he showed up at the
so many more qualifications because
he
doesn't like Trump.
Yeah, it's funny that was used against Trump. Like, well, he's not very political, he's not very presidential, blah, blah, blah. But maybe a porn star's lawyer. Let's throw him in there and see how well that works out. Like, yeah. Not to mention the fact that this news is coming out because he went to MTV's Video Music Awards and somebody happened to run into him. I mean, obviously he made the statement of some sort before then because Variety's guy knew about it. But yeah, so there's that. So what do you guys think about Stormy Daniels' lawyer running for president? And I've got an article here on. It's from. I just pulled up the first page that I saw on the topic. It's called onenewspage.com.
Sounds legit.
Yeah. It's a pretty short story. It just says porn star Stormy Daniels' lawyer Michael Avenatti showed up at the VMAs. Bunch of question marks. But that's not all. He also said he's really considering running against President Trump in the 2020 election. A bunch of question marks. Avenatti told Variety that he was quote, a little bit surprised to be invited to the event, but hoped it would be the last time, or it wouldn't be the last time. Avenatti is representing Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford. Yeah, you're right. It's not much of a porn name. Stephanie Clifford. In a defamation case against Trump and his former personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Cohen paid Daniels $130,000 this is going to come up again in this news episode. Keep in mind, $130,000 to stay quiet about an adult telling another adult, don't tell anybody that we had sex because that might be a problem for me in my career. That will come up later. So keep that in mind.
Extortion.
Yes. No.
The opposite of extortion.
Totally different topic, or totally different story where it's going to come into play. So remember that number, $130,000. Sounds like a lot. Okay. But Cohen paid Daniels $130,000 before the 2016 election to keep quiet about an alleged affair she had with Trump a few years back. In July, Avenatti said he was considering running for president and told Variety he's surprised at how much enthusiasm there is towards a possible run. Avenatti just went to the Iowa State Fair. How did we not know about this? We should have covered that live.
We could have been there. We could have been the person doing this interview.
Right, exactly. And visited New Hampshire. Man, I don't know who this site is, but their writing is absolutely horrendous. Anyway, so any thoughts on that, Craig?
Well, okay, first of all, reading that article, he had the same question that I had, or the same concerns that I had. He, as well as I, were equally surprised that they invited him to these music awards.
Right. Everybody seemed surprised.
Why did they
Who
invite
are you?
This guy?
Right.
His only known client has nothing to do with music videos that I know of, unless she's doing some like adult music videos.
Uh-huh.
And he's just her lawyer. He's not even.
Which I'm sure she's not even doing adult music videos. She's like in her 50s. She's not like gonna be the hot extra in the background of some rap video.
No, you just never know. But he's less celebrity than she is at this point. The only reason she's known, a known name right now, is because of the Trump thing.
Mm-hmm.
He is even less because he's her lawyer. And yet they're like, you know who we need to get at the VMAs? It's the VMAs, right?
Yeah.
The VMAs, Stormy Daniels. Oh, that'd be great. No, Stormy Daniels' lawyer.
His best friend.
His best friend's girlfriend.
Right.
Stepson.
No, in my opinion, it's so painfully clear why he was there, why he was invited there. It's because they wanted this to happen. They wanted the anti-Trump guy, the guy that is going up against Trump right now, to be a part of their bullshit awards ceremony for who had the best music video, which is the stupidest awards ceremony I could possibly think of. But the stupidest
part of it is that MTV doesn't play music videos anymore.
Right.
So for them to have a music video award ceremony,
they should really pass the baton off to somebody who's willing to play music of some sort and not just in the background of the Jersey Shore. But they can pretend like they don't have an agenda or a bias, but when you're inviting the lawyer of the porn star who's suing the president, who you don't like it could not be more obvious what your plan is there. It's not like he's somebody's best friend who you're like, hey, come check out these music videos, because you're definitely somebody whose opinion we care about in the music industry.
Right. So, yeah, it's very politicized, obviously. Even if he didn't announce his presidential candidacy, just the fact that he's there is just like, whose side are the VMAs on? Obviously, they're leaning slightly left to even bring up the fact, oh, and by the way, Stormy Daniels' lawyer showed up today. Everybody give a round of applause.
Right. Exactly. All right, let's take a minute. We can keep talking about this, but you guys, you are welcome to call in. We should be able to field your calls. And if you guys have any comments on the Stormy Daniels situation or the Roseanne situation or anything else, if you have something to say, call in at 309-716-3818. And you can be our first caller ever live on the Anti-News Live. Give us a call. Again, the number is 309-716-3818. I should be able to put it up on the screen. I should have made an overlay for it. I didn't. Actually, one second.
We actually had a member Justin Zielinski last week said, I cannot wait to call into the Anti-News. So if he is not here, he is missing the opportunity he was so excited about. Justin, we are excited for you to call into the Anti-News.
All right, I am changing the text down at the bottom here. Boom. There's the number. If you missed it, call in. That will be up there forever. Forever until I change it. So let's do one more story before we do a quick short intermission, because I'm out of a drink. So if you guys want to call in, call while Craig is giving his next news story, and we'll see what happens. We might just interrupt Craig and throw you in, or we might call you back. All right, cool.
So our very personal favorite cash cow is in the news today again. The one that pays our bills for saying his name.
Cha-ching. David Porkface. What's his last name again?
Hogg. David Hogg? Does that ring a bell to you?
David Bacon.
David Hogg. David Hogg. Gun control advocates march on Smith & Wesson headquarters and demand $5 million donation. Once again, David Hogg is demanding private entities to make millions of dollar donations for the atrocities they've committed.
It's freedom of speech. He is allowed that right.
Of course. In Springfield, Massachusetts, student gun control advocates and one of the survivors, that word again, the survivors of Parkland, Florida shooting. Wow, they shortened it up. They didn't list that horribly, ridiculously long name this time. Are finishing a 50-mile, 4-day march in Massachusetts to the headquarters of gun manufacturer Smith & Wesson. I'll pause there just to point out a fact that some people, including these survivors, may not know. You can drive to the parking lot and stage your rally.
Right.
You don't have to march 50 miles anymore. That is not necessary.
Yeah.
The group is gathering outside company headquarters Sunday in Springfield. The marchers have condemned Smith & Wesson. That's another favorite of mine. And whenever, I don't know how many times Trump's done it, but whenever like North Korea back in the day would do something, test something, or Iran would come out and do something, Obama, the headlines would be Obama condemns Iran or Obama condemns North. What does that even mean?
That means I'm pretty sure the definition of condemned is they came out and said, I don't like it. That's bad. I don't approve of that. That's bad.
So the marchers have come out and said, that's your cue.
I don't like it.
Against Smith & Wesson for
I'm
making
not meaning to sound like
rifle.
Roseanne when I say that. It's just what comes out.
It just happened. It condemned Smith & Wesson for making the rifle used in the February mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland.
Oh, they had to. They had to
do it. The group wants the company to donate $5 million to gun violence research. The Boston Globe reported David Hogg, a Parkland shooting survivor, called the march empowering and said Massachusetts shows how common sense gun laws work. Another group held signs across the street from Smith & Wesson, how brave of them, supporting the gun maker and the Second Amendment. Okay, so yeah, they're supporting Smith & Wesson and the Second Amendment. So they're holding signs up. So they're doing equally as much good by holding signs up across the street from this 50-mile march.
Right.
Another group held signs across the street supporting the gun maker and second. I just read that. Why did I read it again? Smith & Wesson hasn't responded to requests for comment. The end.
What did their signs say? What were they trying to do? Were they saying guns are bad, I don't like it, I condemn you because you're a gun place?
It just says they condemned them because the gun used at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland was a Smith & Wesson gun. So
Okay.
now,
And the car I
He's-
drove over my neighbor with was a Toyota. March on Toyota.
precisely. My
Also,
point exactly.
Edit
What
that
about
last part out about me running over my neighbor. That was somebody else.
So, man, like, on what grounds can they really expect to prove in any way, shape, or form that Smith and Wesson had ill intentions when they created this gun, this one single gun? They knew it would fall into the hands of this shooter, and because so, they should be held responsible.
Right.
On top of that,
Did they march on the pawn shop that probably sold the guns?
oh, I'm sure. Well, remember they said
Did they
did
march
that
on
die-in.
Walmart that sold the ammunition?
Remember they
Did they march on Skechers that sold him his shoes? He couldn't have got there without his shoes.
What about the backpack that he carried all the countless bullets in?
Right?
What about the bullet manufacturer, or was that Smith & Wesson too? I don't know. Does Smith & Wesson make bullets?
I
Does the
have no
same
idea.
company make the bullets that makes the guns?
I have no
that-
idea.
I don't know either. Anyway, so if I smash a beer bottle over somebody's head in a bar brawl,
I'm
like I
going to
get
march
into
on
frequently,
Budweiser.
for A, the beer that he consumed, and B, the bottle that he smashed with,
Right?
that I smashed with.
Yeah. That makes sense.
On top of that, I would like to point out that the phrase forced donation does not make any sense whatsoever.
The phrase
That's a
forced
ransom.
donation means theft. That means it's kind of like taxation. But yeah, it's kind of like ransom. We're going to smear your name until you give us money because
Right.
that's going to bring back lives.
Well, do you remember about 4 or 5 months ago, he did his die-in at that grocery store because
Yep.
the grocery chain CEO donated money to the NRA, so he was forcing them to donate like 16 million. I don't know, that's a made-up number, but it was millions of dollars. He was going to do this die-in until they agreed.
Right.
And it's just, this guy has no clue of anything.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder, hey, where's David Hogg been this last month or so?
Getting
he's-
groomed.
I feel like, he's, I could be wrong, but he's probably done a march on Washington of some sort. He's probably done a march on everything that he could think of. And then he's like, let's march on the people who made the guns because nobody's listening anymore. Nobody's paying attention to David Hogg. David Hogg needs to be in the news again. And it's just sad. It's sad because it's like, we all knew this was going to happen. The outrage would last for about a month, and then, not that the outrage should mean that you get to be a celebrity, but if anybody cares about the shooting a month later, you're lucky. If anybody cares about some spoiled little child who is shouting about his political viewpoints a month later, you'll be extremely blessed and lucky because we're all just sick of you. Just stop. Go back to school. Go back to your reporting job. You'll probably get a job at CNN in 3 years when you're an
After
adult.
he's a senator.
Yeah.
The conspiracy of this really is it's not what you think, obviously. What's really happening here is David Hogg is being paid by Smith and Wesson
Yeah.
so that they can boost gun sales. Because what happens after all of these things, all these protests against gun companies, more people go buy guns.
Right. Especially
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, anytime it comes into the main talk point that people are pushing for less guns, what do you think that guns rights activists do? They buy guns. So, David Hogg, thank you from Smith & Wesson. I will speak for them right now with no credibility at all. I will speak for Smith & Wesson and say, thank you, David Hogg. Thank you.
That's Smith and Wesson, not Weston. Wesson.
Yep, you know.
Shows how
I'm all for guns. That doesn't mean I know jack about them.
Right. We're all for guns. Neither of us own a single gun.
Yes.
I would like to, but I have other things I'd rather spend my money on. But
also, if you know where I live, I do own a gun. Absolutely, I do. Anyway, nobody's calling in, so what the hell, guys? Call in, chat it up.
Come on, don't be shy.
If you've tried calling in, since we haven't really tested how this works with Craig being on the line and somebody else calling in at the same time, if you've tried calling in, couldn't get through, please comment on YouTube in the comments sidebar, not in the lower comments. Comment in the comments sidebar, and if you have anything else that you would like to say, comment in the comments sidebar so that we or I can see what you are talking about. Let us know if you've tried calling in and have not been able to get through. Craig, why don't we take a quick intermission, grab a drink, and come back in about 5 minutes? Sound good? And then maybe somebody will have tried to call in by then.
Probably while we're making a drink, somebody will call at that point.
Probably. If you try to call in and we don't answer, keep trying. Keep trying, because we're new to this and you're new to this. And the number's down at the bottom of the screen right here.
And the phone line is... The phones are ringing off the hook, so if you can't get through, just keep on trying,
Absolutely.
And we'll get to you.
Yeah, we've been trying to take calls, but every time we do, somebody else is calling, so we can't take any of them. The number is 309-716-3818. Call in. We're going to grab some drinks, take some peas, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. So, yeah, let's pretend like we know what we're doing and keep talking until I have some music queued up to be playing or something. Actually, no, that's not what's happening. I have intermission queued up.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh.
We'll be right back.
We don't even know what we're doing for the...
We'll be right back after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Light bright, turn on the magic of colored lights. Light bright, make a face to glow at night. Smiling friends, shining bright, make a sign to say goodnight.
Just pop in the colored pegs and follow the patterns. It's easy to make your favorite pictures and characters, or you can always create your own light pictures.
Light bright, turn on the magic of shining lights.
Light Bright from Milton Bradley.
My buddy, wherever I go, he goes. My buddy, and me. Kid sister, wherever I go, you're gonna go. Kid sister, and me.
My Buddy and Kid Sister, each sold separately from Play School.
Get your skis shined up, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya. Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move ya when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. It juices soft, it gets right to ya. Juicy fruit, the taste is gonna move ya.
Hey now kids, come gather round. See what just skipped into town. So skip it, do run, do jump, do hop, hop. Skip it, skipping and a screaming and a bop to bop. But the very best thing of all, there's a counter on this ball. So try to beat your very best score. See if you can jump a whole lot more. Skip it, come on everybody, skip it. Roaring good fun from Tiger Toys.
Too late, Joe.
Connect 4.
Go for the fun of Connect 4. 4 in a row wins.
Go for the bottom and go for the top. Watch for the block.
Forget it, you're stopped.
Go for the glory. Go for the score. Go for it.
I win.
Connect 4. Go for it.
Yeah.
Connect 4.
It's sometime in the future. The ultimate challenge. Crossfire.
Crossfire. You get caught. Crossfire. Crossfire. You get caught.
get caught up in it.
Dum dums, dum dums, dum be dooby dum 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 cherry and grape, cream soda and apple lollipops for you. So if you really wanna smile, put one in your mouth a while. Dum dums, dum dums, dum dums, dum be dooby dum dums.
Yikes! Strike! Fruit stripe gum! It's a yummy fruity one! Stick a stripe of fun! Just a flying flip-flop! Whoa, whoa, a pit-pot! Yikes! Strike! Fruit stripe gum! A really wilder! A ton of fun a miler! A flavor overloader! Wow! Exploder! Yikes! Strike! Fruit stripe gum! Men from outer space! Funka pop in your face! Fruity flavors in the top! Gooey gobble pizza! Yikes! Strike!
Fruit stripe gum and bubble gum.
Is it me? Is it you? Who knows?
And now let's go live to that wacky Bruce Nolan out at Niagara Falls.
What's going on? We got a Walt Disney. It's frozen solid. They may not have audio. Check the feed.
We may be having a bit of technical difficulty.
Feed's good, Jack. Come on. Talk, Bruce. Damn it. All right, get ready to pull the plug.
Hi, Susan. Bruce Nolan here, aboard the Maid of the Mist in fabulous Niagara Falls, New York. I'm here with Katharine Hepburn's mom. Tell me, why did you throw the blue heart of the ocean jewel over the railing of the Titanic? Did you feel bad at all letting Leo DiCaprio drown while you were safe floating on the big door? Could you have taken turns? Or were you just too afraid to freeze your big fat ass off?
That's how life is, isn't it? Some people are drenched, freezing to death on a stupid boat with a stupid hat, while others are in a comfy news studio, sucking up all the glory. Oh well, no big deal. Oh look, it's the owner of the Maid of the Mist. Let's have a talk with him, shall we? Why do you think I didn't get the anchor job?
Hey man, I don't want any problems. I don't want...
Is it my hair, Bill? Are my teeth not white enough? Or like the Great Falls is the bedrock of my life, eroding beneath me. Eroding.
Cut the feed. Put it black.
Put it black.
I'm on it.
I'm Bruce Nolan for Eyewitness News. Back to you, fuckers.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. Yeah.
I'm going to have to say, I ran back from getting a drink because I had to get the drink and I had to pee.
Same.
But I ran back just to hear what you had going on there because that was fantastic. That was nostalgic.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So it looks like nobody's called in. Forrest commented and said, "I'm afraid that if I call in, I'll be discriminated by you misogynistic, homophobic, racist personalities."
Forrest, call in.
Forrest. I don't even know what to say. Did you hear that Forrest lost his hat in the mall last week?
I did hear that live on this episode.
Yep.
So last episode.
Yep. Anyway, if you're just now tuning in, which you're probably not, call in at 309-716-3818. It's at the bottom of the screen, so check it out there. Or you can comment if you're a lame, nice, but a little bit more lame. You can call in or comment if you go over to YouTube and comment in the sidebar that has the chat option. Somebody at least try calling in so we can test this and make sure it works for if we have somebody cool who's listening in the future. Also, if you're on Skype, you can add me, dan.smots, or you should be able to search for The System is Down and find it. Maybe not. I don't know. We're all new to this, but we'll see what happens. Feel free to interrupt because we want to test it out. We want to see how things are going. We want to see how this works. And most importantly, we want to hear from your beautiful faces what you have to say about the topics that we've covered so far. We're going to give you a little bit more in here, and then we'll switch over around 10:30 to the bonus broadcast for members of the Downers Club. And if you want to get in there and listen to this, you can go to patreon.com/The System is Down, and sign up for as little as a cup of coffee a month. All right. Who did the last one?
The last was David Hoggs. It was me.
Okay.
I just to point out, I try to coerce people into calling with my recent comments on the forum.
Yeah.
Which this will either A, make them want to call more, or B, make them want to leave.
What'd you say?
I said, get in this show and call in. Do not be the thing that Trump likes to grab.
All right, we're getting a call from 0198. 0198. Who is this?
Hello?
Hello, who is this?
I think I must have the wrong number.
Welcome to the show, Forrest Bazat. Please mute your stream in the background so you're not echoing.
Okay. Okay, I did it.
Forrest, you're on the air. How are you?
I'm doing good.
I think we had to kick Craig off to bring you in, so that's going to be a problem, but here we are. This is all new. Craig's still on the line, so we're good. Craig, or not Craig, Forrest.
Yes.
What do you got to say?
Yeah. No, I was just wondering if you guys are going to talk about the Madden tournament shooting from yesterday. I'm surprised it didn't come up yet. I was actually wanting to hear a lot more about it because there was so little information put out about it.
Yeah, to be honest, I have not had a chance to look into that. I saw your post on the forum, and thank you for that, and we will have to check that out. I know so little about it. Do you want to cue me in on like what the details are and what exactly happened? Do you know?
All I know, and it's funny because they put the U.S. flag half mast for this. I didn't actually think it was, it was a tragedy still, but it was it wasn't like as big a tragedy as other shootings in the past, so that kind of surprised me a little bit. But I was just really intrigued by it because it just kind of really showed that even places like a video game live stream, certain places aren't safe. From what I remember, this was of a video game live stream of the Madden game, and 4 people were killed in the shooting. Others were injured, and the suspect was found dead at the scene. And that's really all the information that came out about it.
Important details. What were the descriptive qualities of the shooter? Because that will determine how the media spins this.
That's true. By the way, just to ask, who is the name of the person I'm speaking to?
This is Dan.
Oh, you do not sound like Dan.
I'm using my radio voice, Forrest.
Okay, sounds good. I'm just honestly, I'm looking through this stuff right now. Yeah, it was in Jacksonville, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at USA Today for that. Gunman's name was David Katz, 24, of Baltimore, was attending the tournament and carried out the attack.
Okay.
Jacksonville Sheriff Mike Williams said the suspects brought in 2 handguns and extra ammunition, but likely fired only 1 weapon. It was apparently the guns were purchased legally in Maryland, which was Katz's home state.
Yeah.
They believed that Katz planning the attack before Sunday and that he was acting alone. Associated Press reported Katz was twice hospitalized for a mental illness as a teenager. And of course, it always comes down to mental illness over and over again.
Right. Huh. So did they say is he a white guy?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Do they know his politics?
Yeah.
Do they know if he's a Democrat or a Republican?
They don't say anything about that.
Okay, then he's probably a Democrat. If they didn't bring it up.
That's true.
Yep.
Let's see. Apparently, some witnesses told local media that Katz erupted in anger after losing an intense game at the event, but did not have any other motive besides that. So apparently, the shooting came from a rage quit.
Interesting.
What it really comes down to, I suppose.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we'll have to rant about that. But Forrest, thanks for calling in. And I haven't figured out yet how to kick you out of this, so you'll have to hang up. so I can get Craig back in here.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thanks, Forrest.
Yeah.
See ya. Craig.
What the hell was that all about?
Not sure. There has to be a way when somebody calls in to add them to the conversation. There probably is. So if somebody else is wanting to call in, try, and I will look at the options when that happens. But did you happen to?
I got nothing.
Okay, cool.
I just sat here. I sat here silently, watching nothing.
It's very, very polite of you. No, Forrest called in, and he was talking about, did you hear about the shooter at the game convention, or game something or other, some video game thing for some Madden game?
I heard about it, but I intentionally did not read about it. Well, not necessarily intentionally. I knew it was just going to be bizarre and stupidity for the first day, so
yeah.
I haven't looked into it yet. So what did Forrest have to say? I don't want you to have to repeat everything, but just give a recap,
fine.
and then I'll comment.
We can recap because this is all new territory. But Forrest was pointing out that, well, he was just giving the details, and I asked him if they had any details on the ethnicity of the person. Not that I care, but that determines how the media will spin this. And then I asked him if, well, it's a white guy, and the suspect was found dead. And this guy, well, I asked if they mentioned in there what his political background was, and he said, no, they do not. And I was like, well, then he's a Democrat. Otherwise, they definitely would have mentioned it. But, yeah, I don't know. It's very strange. Not that it's a good thing, of course, but thankfully it was at Madden. Madden.
I was gonna say, are they pushing for against video game violence now because of this?
If it was like the new Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption or something, absolutely they would be. But who knows how they'll spin this? If they'll spin it into something that is, they'll try to make it video game related. I mean, Forrest, of course we want to report on the news as it's happening, but also we don't want to report on something too early when there's no information about it. And really, there's not that much information about it, and I don't want to jump to any conclusions because we can speculate all night long on what motives were.
And I was gonna say, we have this awesome tendency to wait at least minimum of 1 week, possibly 2 weeks, to report on actual news.
In fairness, that's not like a badge for us to wear. That is just because we're too lazy to look into things for at least a week typically. Even if you post it in the forum, we still might not look at it. I intended to.
It's not that we don't want to. It's just that we're just lazy. Super lazy.
Yeah, well,
we're the worst reporters of news that you will find.
Yep. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I know so little about it that we can't really talk about it too much, but it's unfortunate. I think he said there were 4 dead, and he's dead. Very strange. It's a very strange thing. It's kind of like the YouTube shooter thing. It's like, I mean, if anybody had if anybody could psychologically justify in their brain going in and shooting up YouTube, it would not be some chick with a vlog about makeup. It would be Alex Jones. I'm not predicting anything. But if somebody were to, he should be the one.
Right. And I was going to point out, is this one going to, because it was a white guy with really no ties to the hate group known as the Republican Party, is this going to disappear as fast as the YouTube shooting disappeared?
Right.
Or are people going to march for 50 miles in protest of Madden games now?
Who knows? But Forrest, we're going to be jumping off here and jumping into bonus in a minute. But Forrest, if you want to try and call back and help us out in testing out this and see if I can add you to a call rather than kicking Craig out of the call, or anybody else, if you want to call in, just so we can test this out, not even necessarily to talk about anything unless you want to, but It'd be cool.
We can get one more serious story, and there's two that we can talk about. And
Okay.
I'll say both of them, and you decide which one you want to do now and which you want to save for bonus.
How about this? Since we've got like 8 minutes left before we're supposed to jump over to bonus, let's talk about. Did you hear about John McCain?
That was the first one. And the second one I'll just say so it makes people want to get into the bonus content.
Sure. Tease them.
We're going to talk. I want to talk about the Pope. We got to talk about the Pope.
Yes.
So we'll
Yes.
get into that in bonus. So if you want to talk about the Pope with us, get on now and donate
And
$5.
actually, the title of this episode was, what was it? Something about Nazis, cannibals, and front holes. We didn't talk about a single one of the three things that I put in the title. So that's
curious
what
about
happens.
cannibals.
Yeah, I've got stuff on all three of those. So those are teasers. I've got a bunch of stuff here that I wanted to talk about, and the likelihood of there being people calling in over there will be lesser. So we can probably dig into more. We're getting a call from 2405, and it doesn't look like I can add. Wait, +1. Let's try that. No. Wait, is there a way? Can I add them? Can I add you? Don't stop. What the hell? Really? I can't add you to the call.
Frickin' Skype.
Bye,
man.
Craig. All right, who this?
It's people.
People? Who's people? Sounds like Justin Zelinsky.
It is not just Zelensky, but I'm good people, I promise.
All right, who are we talking to? Just give me a
Nick.
What?
Nick.
Nick. Oh, Nick. Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going.
Cool. Did you have something to add, or were you just giving us the test call so we could test out this software?
The test call, I had something at some point that I was going to say, but now that I'm on a phone, I'm phone shy.
I understand.
And I'm weirded out by the fact that the actual stream is considerably behind reality.
Yeah, that's life. I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do about that. We've tried, but there's not much we can do.
I guess I would ask, since you brought it up, what has been your favorite John McCain meme?
Honestly, I haven't seen a whole lot of John McCain memes. I don't really venture out into the real world of Facebook all that much, or the real world of Reddit or anything else. I read some of the news stories and headlines and things, and I mostly stay within the System is Down forum, which is probably bad, but I haven't seen too many John McCain memes. How about you?
I mean, I've seen plenty of. I think probably the safest one is where someone says, can we get some thoughts and prayers for John McCain victims across the world or something like that.
Right.
There's
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
I
of
think
them.
I did see that one. That might have been posted in the forum.
I've seen a lot of them and a lot of angry people. Personally, I don't, I'm not happy the guy's dead. I wish he could have just, not been in government.
Right.
But in the same vein,
Or been in
He was not a
government
good
and
guy.
not been like a warmongering shitbag.
Yeah, that would have also been good. But that seems like a lot to ask out of anyone in government
That's true.
by
Yeah.
nature. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was just trying to call and help you out and see if you figure out your thing. Did you figure it out?
No, because we had to kick Craig out so I could take the call. But thanks for calling in, man. And if you want to plug your show, feel free to.
All right, I'm Nick. I host the Sounds Like Liberty podcast with my wife Lizzie. We talk about libertarian shit and music.
Cool. Yeah, everybody goes check out Sounds Like Liberty. Nick, thanks so much for calling in. We'll talk to you later, man.
Thanks, bud.
See ya. So apparently we cannot, until I figure out how, have you in while I'm taking a call, which is unfortunate. Your mic is muted.
Here's my thought that I'm wondering if maybe when somebody calls in, maybe you can call them back and add them.
That's a lot of steps.
I get that, but
has to be a
until
way.
you figure it out,
There has
until
to
you
be a
figure
way.
it out, it's not like we have our phones ringing off the hooks or anything
Right.
like they are.
I can
So if
click
somebody
to add
called,
people to call, and when Nick called in, it popped up with a little circle with a person outlined and a plus sign. So I would think that would mean there has to be a way, but I clicked on it, it did nothing. And then when I clicked on it and brought him in, your face stayed there frozen. So I was hopeful for a second, but yeah, Nick was just asking what my favorite John McCain meme is. Craig, have you seen a good John McCain meme?
I have not, but now I'm going to look him up just so I get a good one.
His favorite, which I couldn't think of it at the time, but after he said it, I remembered that I had seen that one and chuckled maniacally at it. I don't remember if it was posted in the forum, maybe it was in the Lions of Liberty forum, or maybe you sent it to me. I think you might have sent it to me actually, where it's like, my thoughts and prayers go out to, what was it? Like the people that John McCain killed or something like that. It looks like it's gonna say something about John McCain's family, but it actually says the people that were bombed because of John McCain.
Oh, those are good. Those are good.
Yeah, my coverage of this story, literally, because I'm sick of listening to people rant about it on both sides, was going to be like, so in the news, John McCain passed away. All right, thanks for listening.
So here's my new favorite John McCain meme. It shows obviously a face of John McCain, and it says at the top, claims to be pro-life. Underneath, in asterisk, dies. Let me see if I can share this one.
You can't share. You can't screen share.
Okay, never mind. I won't even try then.
Yeah, that just froze us up last time, so don't screen share.
That's my favorite so far.
You can pull it up on your phone and put that up to the camera. That's the best for us.
That worked so well last time. So, as you may or may not know, the great Senator John McCain died. Yesterday, I think. Yesterday afternoon, or was it the day before? Sometime recently, John McCain died. Which a few days, like the day before or 2 days prior, they had announced that John McCain was removing himself from the medical care that he's been receiving for over a year for this quote-unquote brain tumor that he has. And I say quote-unquote as snarkily as possible because I have a running joke, theory, serious.
We all know that he was dying from the disease that you get from consuming human children and drinking their blood.
In particular, human brains. If you, technically, supposedly, if you eat the brains of humans, you can possibly contract this virus that attacks your brain and breaks it down, basically, just deteriorates your brain. So the fact that how many people in high politics recently have died or have been contracted.
People were speculating about Hillary Clinton when she was having her. I mean, who knows if she's still having her coughing fits of rage or her falling down because she's not in the public eye anymore. But people were, they were speculating that this was a result of. And I know it sounds crazy, but we're admittedly a conspiracy podcast now, and look into some of these things because it's not that far-fetched if you really read into some of the things, read between the lines, and decode some things.
And supposedly a telltale sign of this brain disease, this human brain-eating brain disease, is you first can start getting an ulcer on your tongue. And if you look at some of these old campaign videos of Hillary when she's coughing up slugs
a lesion
and stuff.
on her tongue.
Yeah, she has this monster lesion on her tongue, the size of 30% of her tongue. And so that's what sparked the whole thing in the first place. And we talked about that a long, long time ago. Yeah. But now we have Ted Kennedy died of a brain tumor. John McCain just died of a brain tumor. And I've looked up, there's several others who have brain tumors or brain cancer. So who knows? Maybe it's just all in good fun. Brain tumors and good fun. But John McCain wanted this statement read after his death. And supposedly, I have not read the statement yet, but supposedly this was a zing to Donald Trump after his death.
We can carry this over into the bonus because we are late for a very important date with people who pay to have this show be bonus. Yeah,
so that your cliffhanger. This is what John McCain wanted read after his death. That is it.
That's
all
it.
you get.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening. If you want the bonus, we're going to jump over there now. You got, 90 minutes of free content, bonus free. So guess new show, new podcast, new addition to the System is Down podcast. If you're not subscribed to the System is Down, please go do that. That's the main show that started all this nonsense. You can subscribe to that on iTunes or Stitcher or anywhere podcasts are found. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff. And if you would like to hear the rest of this conversation, please jump over to patreon.com/The System is Down and sign up for the Downers Club, and you'll get the rest of this conversation, which is going to continue right freaking now. And we will take all of your calls. We will read every single comment that you post. There's been quite a few comments tonight, but we haven't read almost any of them. We will read all of them out loud with our mouths. And you will...
With our mouths.
With our mouths. And not only that, the John McCain cliffhanger, also all 3 topics that were in the title of this episode, you'll find out what those are all about if you go to patreon.com/The System is Down. And
I feel like your title alone was just a cliffhanger. Like, you want to hear about these things?
It was not intentional.
Come hear about how you can listen to them on our free podcast.
Yeah, we typically talk about like 4 or 5 topics, and then I have maybe 1. I actually had like 6 topics to talk about, and I started with something that was kind of like softball and expecting us to have more time, but we're chatty Cathys. And if you want to hear these chatty Cathys, chatty Cath more, go join the Downers Club. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the first almost professionally streamed live, we'll say broadcast, not just podcast anymore. This is a broadcast.
We're legit. We are real people.
Yeah. So
real.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. And we'll talk to you guys on the other side of the Patreon wall. Come join us over there for the after party of the AntiNews. And we'll talk to you then. Wait. Pause that. I had an outro that I want to throw in here. Here you go. Enjoy. We'll talk to you guys on this. We're still figuring this shit out. Here you go. Nope. That's not going to work because my computer's going too slow.
Hello? Eat my tarts? This cosmic dance of bursting decadence and withheld permissions twists all our arms collectively, but if sweetness can win, and it can, then I'll still be here tomorrow to high-five you yesterday, my friend. Peace.